term.
They value their possession of things that they don't have.
Sure, they'll have a different value for things than somebody who rents.
Kind of go back to stable income with the house.
Stable income, all these things, guys. People who purchase homes and own homes, that's a long-term thing. Have you guys ever been in a rented place before? If it's yours, and you spilled soda or something on the carpet, and to clean it up, you just threw a towel on the carpet and just did this. You guys ever done that before? All right. If you were at your parents' house and you spilled a little soda on the table and you started to do this, what would your parents do? They would freak out on you. If it was my mom, she would spear tackle me from across the room and be like, "Get the spray bottle, dab it, don't rub it. Make sure that it comes up." Why? Because this is her house that she spent a lot of money on that she will have forever. And if she doesn't have it forever, what will she do? Sell it and get money for that. When you rent, are you ever selling that place? What happens when your lease is up? You leave. What's the only penalty? Maybe your security deposit, right? That's about it. And a lot of times, a lot of people just automatically assume they're not going to get it back anyways. So the people who own versus rent, they have such a different mindset when it comes to purchasing products because they purchase nice things for their place versus renting. I mean, what do you have that's nice in a rented place? Like a nice TV, typically. That's about it. And it's mainly going to be the homeowners. So what's the best type of person to show to? Somebody who has all three. Would you guys agree with that? Now, are there some people that you might know, one person that doesn't fit this, that you're like, they'd be great? Cool, that's an outlier. Doesn't happen too often. You guys all might know an exception to the rule, but this holds pretty steady. So, why are our top reps top reps? Because guess who they show Cutco to? These people. And that's it. Johan Johnson in our office, he outsells everybody all the time because he only does presentations for married couples that own a house that are over 30. He understands this rule. And he knows, hey, I'm not going to waste my time showing to a single 28-year-old that rents because it's a waste. That's like me trying to sell golf clubs to a tennis player. It might be great golf clubs, but do they have a need for it? No. Maybe it's a rich tennis player. Are they going to care about nice golf clubs? It has nothing to do with money or anything like that. It has to do with if they have a need for the product. So we want to find people who have a need for it. I want you guys to think about people that are on your list. All right, if you're like me, I want you to think about how many of these people you have on your list. If you're like me, you're probably like hardly any. Because who did I tell you to write down on the list last night? Anyone, right? So what did I do? It was all kids from my high school graduating class, pretty much. So when my manager's like, how many of these people do you have on there? I was like 10 out of 240. And then my manager said, well, what about those guys' parents? I'm like, oh, now all of a sudden I have 100, just like that. So anybody here write down your friends? Would you ever show Cutco to your friends? Expect them to buy? Absolutely not. But would their parents be good candidates? Cool. So now all of a sudden you have a lot of people on your list, which is pretty nice. All right. Now, the Mac customers are the best. These are your best prospects, and your objective is to try and come up with as many of these people as possible. All right. Now, the biggest fast starts come from people who focus only on Macs and focus on doing as many as possible. All right? Now, one thing I want you to understand, would you guys all agree that you have at least one person on your list right now that meets this criteria, that's like the cheapest person ever? They're like known for being the cheapest person. You guys have all one of those? Yeah. And you're like, there's no way they'd ever buy any Cutco? You need to promise me right now, I won't lead you in the wrong direction, promise me that you will still show Cutco to that person. Why? Because they will buy Cutco. And when you have that happen, what does it do for your confidence? Through the roof. All right? I had people like that I was like, there's no way they would ever buy. They're so cheap. Cheap people love Cutco. Why do cheap people like Cutco? Yeah, they never have to buy it again. And they value high-quality stuff that's going to last, that's going to work, guarantees, all that. Cheap people love Cutco, trust me. All right? My parents were cheap, and they got Cutco. Now, that's a really important thing. Now, would it help if somebody does have extra income? Would it hurt? No. It definitely would not hurt. Okay? Because what does it mean if somebody has extra income?
I can buy more.
Yeah, they just could buy more. That's all. It's not uncommon for somebody to drop $1,000 to $2,000 on a set of Cutco. It's really not. Does it happen every single presentation? No, but it's definitely not uncommon. We're going to go over prices today. You guys will find out about prices. Our stuff's affordable, but it's definitely not cheap. All right? Now, let's go through a schedule that to kind of show you how much you could do. Because I know a lot, when I was in training, I was like, I want to work really hard, but I just didn't really understand what it was. like how much I could work. So you guys can jot this down if you want to in your notes. But we're going to go over this later in training, so you don't even really have to jot this down if you don't want. We have, today is Friday, tomorrow is Saturday, so let me just show you what your first 3 days could look like. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Now we have training tomorrow, right? From 9 to 3. So you'll be busy here from training from about 9 to 3. You guys might have other stuff going on. For right now, just kind of follow along here with me. Now, you guys could do your first presentations at 3:30. Why 3:30? Take a little bit of time to get out of here and get to your presentation. If you live really far away, maybe it's 4 o'clock. But it's 3:30 or 4. Now, when you're brand new, we have you do appointments an hour and a half apart. Why? Take you a little bit longer to get the hang of stuff. And you know these people, right? So they're probably going to want to talk your ear off. Last thing I want you to do is be running behind for your first couple presentations. So it's an hour and a half, no less, when you're brand new. So look at this. You can do 5 appointments right away tomorrow after this training. Isn't that pretty cool? I get questions all the time like, when can I start? That's when you start, basically. It's 3:30 right after training tomorrow. Now, Fast Start Contest actually starts 3:30 tomorrow right after training. Now, how well do you think that you would do if you left training right here with everything really fresh and you did 5 straight appointments right after training? Do you think it would go well? Did you guys notice that when you role play this stuff, even like second, third, fourth time through, it got pretty second nature to you? Imagine if you did the whole time, or the whole thing through 5 times, how good would you be by the end of the day? Alright? This right here, typically, if it's a top person, and what I mean by top person, somebody who's like done the homework, looked over their stuff, set up with Mac appointments. If you set up with 5 Mac customers here, I think it's safe to say the majority of you, if not almost all of you, would sell $1,000 right here. From 5 presentations. Now, I know some of you guys are like, that's a lot of money. Trust me, we're going to go over prices later. Don't worry about that. But if you set up appointments with those customers and you just follow what I teach you, it'll be a great day for you. Now, am I telling you to not go out and have a great time? Absolutely not. Do that, but I'm just showing you how much you could do working hard. Okay? Now, are there people available at 9:30 to do appointments? For sure. What's on late on Saturday nights? Saturday Night Live, right? Do a lot of people watch that? You bet. Enough that people are up, right? Late night news, all that kind of stuff. People are up at this time. Not everybody's going to be available to see you, but you'll be able to find somebody. Okay? Now, we actually have a saying that's over there on the wall. It says 5 a day is a champion's way. Our top reps, they know that when they sell 5 presentations, when they do have 5 presentations in a day, odds are they're going to sell how much? Now, if I have a rep or an AM in the room, like Greg, when you do 5 presentations, how much do you typically sell?
1,000.
1,000. You bet. Marty, how much do you sell when you do 5 presentations?
Yeah, 1,000.
About 1,000. Sometimes less, sometimes more, but it typically averages out for most of our people, it's $1,000. Wouldn't it be cool to get your first promotion the second you leave training tomorrow? Not to mention the Fast Start Prize, which you guys don't know about yet, and the other stuff, but it's pretty sweet. Now, on Sunday, how much could you do? Check this out. That's 10 appointments. Is that a lot of work? It's a lot of work. Alright? Now, would you be tired after this day? Absolutely. There's no way I'm going to try and sugarcoat this and be like, oh, you'd feel great, 100% energy at the end of the day. You will be mentally exhausted after this day. Now, you'll be exhausted from talking. This job is not like a labor job where you feel like your arms want to fall off after working for a full day. It's not like, running a double shift as a waitress where your legs, you've been standing on your legs all day. Do you guys know what a long day is for us? You just sat in 10 people's air-conditioned kitchens, talked to them for about 45 minutes each, ate their food and drank their lemonade before you went to the next one. That's what a long day is for us. So it's long because it's a lot of hours, but it's not a whole lot of heavy work, if you will. Okay? Will you sell a lot of Cutco if you do 10 presentations on that day? A ton of Cutco. Alright? Most people, obviously it's about 5 equals 1,000. For most of you guys, I agree that that would happen. Amanda Johnson, she was a rep of mine a couple years ago, and her other job, she worked at Taco Bell when she started with us. So she could only do 1 right here. She did the 3:30, then she had to go work a really late shift at Taco Bell and close work till I think it was 3 or 4 in the morning. Then she had 10 demos lined up on her first Sunday after she got no sleep. This girl is awesome. She played a lot of sports and stuff. So